Hi everyone, happy Thanksgiving. It's Natalie here, and I wanted to do a reading that will help us focus on what to do in order to be at our best over the holiday. There's a lot going on right now in the United States. The politics are really in a very challenging spot, more so maybe than they ever have been. Um, and there's a lot of things coming up for a lot of people, and that can make for a really difficult time if everybody has to sit around a dinner table and try to find a way to get along. So I'm going to start with the Amenti Oracle, which I've been shuffling. We're going to pull a card and then use that as the focus for how to interpret the reading. So, oh wow. Okay. So, so those of you who saw who may have seen the general reading for the new moon, which is also today. Today's Tuesday, the 26th of November. We have a new moon in Sagittarius. But our card for the week came up in the cups pile, and the cups pile is very much about emotions. So this one is saying, I remain in balance with my emotions. Probably a very good thing for us to think about going and do a holiday with family members, right? Let's just check the Amenti Oracle book. This is number 18. Okay, so I've just had an opportunity to read through the guidebook on the I Remain in Balance with My Emotions card, and there's quite a bit. She starts by telling us that the ancient Egyptians considered the heart to be the most sacred organ, and that in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, Anubis weighs the heart of the deceased against the feather of Ma'at, representing truth and justice. So if the heart was as light as a feather, you were granted permission to pass into heaven. However, if the heart was dense with the destructiveness of anger, vice, sadness, and wrongdoing, Amit, an Egyptian goddess known as devourer or soul eater, consumes the heart, and you are unable to pass through to the next world. Okay, so so she goes further to say, remaining in balance with emotions can be a challenge. The head and heart can at times be in opposition with the... Oh, whoops. Sorry. Okay, so I should probably switch hands. Here we go. Balanced. More balanced, slightly. There we go. Trying to get this right with glare and so forth has been a challenge. Right, so remaining in balance with the emotions can be a challenge. The head and heart can at times be in opposition with each other, like the opposing hemispheres of the brain. Logic and feeling don't always agree, yet they must work together in order to function as a whole. Such is the same internal agreement with the heart and mind. Reconciliation of thought and feeling allows life to remain light, in balance with the harmony of being. Okay, then she goes on to talk about how we actually do the doingness of remaining in balance with our emotions, and she says this harmony is a spectrum of sound, color, feeling, and vibration, encompassing all the notes on the scales of experience. So everything that we feel, in other words, everything that we experience, it has to be allowed. It has to be made room for. But balancing that with an objective mind that doesn't necessarily need to react is really the key. So it's sort of a balance between swords and cups. So we keep the mind active in order that it can balance the emotions and keep us objective. Okay, so don't take the bait. When your Uncle Merv says that thing that gets to you every time, don't take the bait because it won't help you. Okay, so we're going to use the Marielle Tarot 2nd edition this week. And we want 3 cards, please, deck. 3 cards. Ooh. Okay, so the first card is the Four of Swords. which also came up in the general reading. I love the overlap. So when you're using the same deck, it's funny how they'll talk to you about similar things. Okay, so I just had 4 cards jump at once. So we're going to go ahead and go with all of them in the order in which they jumped. So in addition to our 4 of Swords, we also have a 10 of Cups. We have a Knight of Swords. We have a 7 of Discs. And we have the 7 of Cups. So 2 7s in one reading is very interesting. The Chariot and one of the other 7s came up for the general reading. So when we start with this 4 of Swords, my keyword that I have for the 4 of Swords is fertile retreat. So it's about letting the mind rest. Because within that rest, we're going to find all the source of all of the things that we need. And the cloudiness has the chance to kind of clear. So whatever is in there that needs to come forth will. Whether it's a rainstorm that comes down and cleanses this bit of pollution down here at the bottom, or whether it's simply that the wind blows the clouds away, you know, clarity is restored by being willing to just pause. So it might also be that if what we're hoping to do is remain in balance with our emotions, that we take a deep breath and pause before we speak, or pause before we react. So just remembering that sacred pause, or just getting up and leaving the table, leaving the room, possibly, depending on your circumstances, maybe even getting in the car and leaving the gathering if need be. But being willing to just work with that intuition in the moment in order to be kind and loving to yourself and to find a way to keep this balance. Okay, so that was the 4 of Swords. We then have the 10 of Cups, and my keyword for the 10 of Cups is seize the day. So carpe diem, right? Take everything, you've got everything full. Everything is full right now. So remembering moment to moment, I have everything I need, right? And it might be an opportunity as well to be very grateful. I know that's really cliche, but spending the time reminding ourselves of what we can be grateful for, and cultivating that gratitude, and then making the intention to take the energy of that gratitude and live in the moment. Remembering that you have everything you need can be very helpful. It then allows you to seize the day as it is and remain really present with whatever is happening. Okay, then we have the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is seeking wisdom, he's seeking knowledge, he's seeking intelligence. So it could be that the forward-moving direction that you could take in a moment of difficulty that's, you know, interpersonal at a family holiday is the perspective of seeking knowledge or seeking to understand. What is the need that your family member who is annoying or irritating or obsessively trying to prove their point about, what is that need? What is their need that they're trying to serve through that behavior? When I do that and I take that perspective and I get out of my body that might be reactive and back up into my mind, right? Because I may not have a chance to really calm my body in that moment. I might have to go up here for a few minutes just to give my body a chance to settle down, and also to reframe that situation. So can you reframe the situation in the moment by remembering to understand, seek to understand? Okay. Then we have the 7 of Discs, and the 7 of Discs is a culmination. Actually, I'm going to reverse these. They jumped all together, and it feels with this deck to me more like the 7 of Cups really should be next. The 7 of Cups is about our lower self, right? So, you know, remembering, and maybe even, sorry, that like stray things on my black top. So, you know, remembering to come into the mind in a moment when the lower self is being triggered, right? Take a moment to get rational, to get calm. The Seven of Cups is an awareness that it's possible that we may be facing having some of that darker stuff come up. And that as it does come up, holding space for it, right? We've got this whole first jumper by itself, which is about the fertile retreat. It's also about holding space for the clouds. And I think holding space for these clouds in the form of recognizing that some of those clouds may be the darker stuff is really a very important part of this process. So, as that stuff comes up, instead of rejecting it, coming back to the breath, coming back to the body, and then recentering the mind on something else. So coming back once again to the Knight of Swords, right? Can I understand what's going on here? Is there a way to just distance myself? And remembering too, if there's not, let go and walk away, right? The sevens are connected strongly to the Chariot. That's always about movement. It's always about a choice. So remember, as these moments come up, you always have a choice. And sometimes that choice has to be, I need to get up and leave. The fertile retreat is not happening here in my body or in my body mind, or in my rational mind. It has to happen for me to get out of here because too much of this is coming up. Okay. And then finally, Seven of Discs, another seven. And that's seeing all of this come to fruition and knowing that you're going to succeed, right? There's a mission that's being accomplished, and it's going to be okay, right? No matter what happens over the next few days, it will be okay. But working with the intention to keep balanced, and to take in what's happening around you as much as possible from that middle place, right? So it's in between the heart and mind where they're both included, but neither one takes over. So it's allowing space to be held for both to be present, both the heart and the mind. Okay. I hope that's clear. I think that's clear. So let's have I'm going to bring out the messenger cards. That's just a final message to kind of bring things together. I love this deck so much. It's so beautiful. And the messages are so stunning. Okay. So we'd like one card, please, deck. Just one message of something that will help us bring this reading together. Oh, they smell so good. Okay, so we have this card. It looks to me like a white buffalo. I've never drawn this card before working with this deck. So let's see what they have, what the book has to say. Oh, wow. Okay. So it is a white buffalo. And the key words are deep self-respect. So deep self-respect. Are you listening? What is your soul asking of you in this very moment? What is your soul asking of you from this life experience? Are you willing to follow this loving guidance down your true path? Listening to your inner wisdom and following through with thought, word, and deed is the deep key to self-respect. When we commit to ourselves first, our life transforms from one of living on the surface to truly connecting with ourselves, others, and life experience. Commit to honoring and respecting the quiet and steady voice within, even when it is guiding you in a new direction. This is how we find peace and understanding in all that we are creating. Remember, integrity, impeccability, compassion. Wow, so they all sort of came together really beautifully. So remaining in balance with our emotions is very much about deep self-respect. Deep self-respect. So as you get together with family members this week, North Americans, and maybe for the rest of the world too, who knows, maybe these are also energies that are affecting everybody, getting some space and remembering that taking that sacred pause when things get really tense and difficult around the dinner table, or in the kitchen or wherever it is, can be deeply, deeply helpful. Let the clouds blow over or let it rain and let things be cleansed. But one way or the other, pause. Take that sacred pause. Seize the day. Remember what you have. Remember to be grateful for what you have, and that will hopefully allow us all to stay present and remain present in the moment. Seek to understand. So whoever it is that's being difficult around the table, do we have the ability to take a breath, right, through that Four of Swords, recenter the mind, calm the body a little bit, and then come back? What do they want? What is it that they're wanting? What is it that they're needing? What's the unmet need behind whatever it is that they're talking about? Remember that some dark things may or may not come up, and you always have a choice. You always have a choice. Do you need to excuse yourself if you're triggered? Do you need to leave the room? Do you need to go home? What does it mean for you in terms of your ability to remain stable? And then finally, your hard work, your attention, and your intention has the power to bring success to these efforts. Yeah. My keywords for the Seven of Discs are mission accomplished. So when we really make active choices to move forward in a particular direction, it tends to be the case that we will be able to do it. We'll be able to follow through with that intention. Yeah. And remember, that intention can also just simply be deep self-respect. Am I behaving in a way that feels in harmony with a deep sense of self-respect? Okay. So I wish everyone a beautiful, happy holiday. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll look forward to next time. All right. Bye.